my dear students. I know you all love to listen to stories. So today, I'm going to tell you an interesting story. So let's get started. The story is about the baker's village children. Long time ago, in some far corner of a poor country, there was a poor village. The village had no riches or valuables, but they were honest and humble. Valuables mean the things that are precious and costly. Humble means kind. A prince was the head baker in this baker's village. All the villagers worked for the prince. Early every morning, the prince and his workers baked fresh loaves of bread. They kneaded the flour and built giant fires in the oven to bake the bread. Kneaded means to make the dough using the hands by mixing the flour. Giant means huge. When the loaves of the bread were ready, the villagers loaded their handcarts and went to other villages to sell the bread. While returning home in the evening, they collected wood to make fires and bought flour to make more bread the next day. The villagers had to cross a shallow river to reach the other villages. Shallow means not deep. Sometimes their carts would get stuck in the wet mud of the river, as you can see in the picture. Now an elephant lived near the river. He helped the villagers pull out their carts from that river water. The villagers gave him some fresh bread in return for his assistance. Assistance means when you help someone by sharing their work. They did not have much money, but they were happy living and working together. The villagers were very happy working together and they were satisfied and contented with whatever little they did. Sometime later, the carts stopped coming from the baker's village up to the river. The elephant was sad as he stopped getting fresh bread. So he decided to go to the village and find out what is the reason. Why didn't the carts come to the river? He learned that the villagers did not have money to buy flour. Besides, the villagers were growing old and could no longer pull their handcarts across the river and over long distances. The elephant wanted to help the poor villagers. He thought for some time and then a big smile crossed his face. "I have an idea," he exclaimed. "Dear villagers," he said, "I can carry on my back 2 men at a time with the loaves of bread. We can even go to different villages to sell the bread. We can also bring a large number of logs of woods from the forest." The prince and the villagers were delighted to hear that. They started baking and selling the bread again, and they happily gave the elephant his share of fresh bread every day. Delighted means to be pleased or happy. So then after, the villagers, the prince and the elephant lived happily ever after. So hope you like the story, children. What did we learn from the story? The moral of the story: money cannot buy happiness. Always remember, children, happiness is something that comes from within. You can't buy it with money. Be happy with whatever you have. You saw in the story that the villagers had little, but they were very happy and contented. Be humble, honest and helpful. The villagers in the story were very honest and very humble. And there was an elephant also who was very kind enough to help them. So you need to learn from the characters of the story that how you need to be humble, honest and helpful. Unity is strength. When you work together, you can make anything possible. So, united we stand. Next, children, you learnt in this story the process or the steps how to make the bread. So as you can see in the picture, first to make the bread, you have to take the flour, you have to mix the ingredients into it, and you have to knead it to make a dough. Then you have to make it into logs and you have to bake it. This is how you make the bread. Next, let us learn and have a look from the vocabulary from this chapter. Valuables, precious or expensive things. Humble, kind, giant, huge. Kneaded, made a dough with flour using hands. Shallow, not deep. Assistance, the action of helping someone by sharing work. Delighted, pleased or happy. So that's all, children. Hope you like the story and you learned something out of it. Thank you and wish you a happy life ahead.